We all have routines. I'm Jabron, and with diabetes, mine was finger sticks. Sometimes I skip them because they hurt. The Freestyle Libre 3CGM changed that. It gives me glucose insights without finger sticks. Learn more at freestylelibre.us.
Finger sticks are required if your glucose alarms or readings do not match symptoms, or when you see check blood glucose symbol for the first 12 hours. The views expressed should not be used for medical diagnosis or treatment as a substitute for professional medical advice. Individual circumstances may vary. For prescription only. Safety info found at freestylelibre.us.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
DJ PK, and we are here with BYU offensive coordinator Aaron Roderick. Look at the relaxed body language. You've done this drill before. You've got this down. What is new to learn, Aaron? You've been around the block a few times now.
Yeah, can't believe how many years I've been doing this. Like, it's I think this is year 26 now. I was at Utah for 12 years, and I think this is year 9 here. So I love it. It's the first day out here, back on the grass with the players. It's really fun.
As we look at this team, we expect big things from Bachmar, and I can remember you came on our show, and it was after Retzlaff's first season. And going into that offseason, now we know what happened, but that's not the point of the question, is that you listed some stats that you were expecting from him, and they were considerably higher than completion percentage than what he was his first year, and he didn't get an opportunity. But now we got Bachmar, who's going to have that opportunity. Are you expecting the same type of level of production that you anticipated from Retzlaff if he had played that second year with Bachmar now in his second year?
Yeah, I think Bear is definitely capable of it. We don't talk a lot about stats here. Some stats are winning stats that are worth talking about. We don't talk about yards and let's lead the league in this or that. But we want to be 3-to-1 touchdowns to interceptions. Last year we were just over 2-to-1. I'd like him to be 3-to-1 this year, and I'd like to be around 70% completions. If we can hover in that 70% completion range, then there's going to and take better care of the football, there's going to be more explosive plays. And so that's part of the goal. Our big years on offense were, Zach 30-something touchdowns, Jaron 30-something touchdowns, 70% completion range. Those have been our great years on offense. And again, it's not like something we talk about every day, like, hey, we got to hit these marks. But we're trying to gear the offense in a direction where Bear can have that type of success.
I had a professor at UC Santa Barbara who said once, there's liars, there's damn liars, and there's statistics. The point of that is statistics is even worse than these two forms of liars. So I'm curious to dig a little deeper on that stat. 3-to-1 ratio, but when a quarterback runs the ball as well as he does, you add in the rushing touchdowns because maybe he doesn't throw it in from the 7-yard line because he runs it in from the 7-yard line. And how do you factor that in? Because fans are going to listen to this and they're going to be holding you accountable for those numbers in October.
Yeah, well, like I said, we're not harping on the numbers, okay? Those are goals. Those are winning numbers that are out there that are achievable. They're not easy. And he's a sophomore, so I'm not saying this has to happen right now. Those are things we're working towards in his career. I think he is capable of that, though. And you're right, Bear's an elite runner. I mean, he's as good of a running quarterback as I've ever seen in college football, and so that does factor into our, the equation. Sometimes when we're in the red zone, the space gets condensed in the passing game, and the quarterback run game is the thing that sort of balances it out. You equate numbers with the QB run, and so he's a threat, and we're going to run him less this year, but he's still a weapon in that area.
When you say you're going to run him less, why?
Well, just want to keep him healthy. At the end of last season, he was pretty banged up, and in the championship game and then in the bowl game, he played really well in the bowl game. But that bowl game was kind of more like the formula we want to play with this year, where we ran him a little less, threw it a little more, and we didn't have LJ in that game. So if we can kind of have that type of formula, but we're still handing the ball 20 times to LJ, I think that's going to be a formula for success.
I love how coaches, as they really settle into a place and a philosophy, they get real detail-oriented. The details can matter a lot. One thing about bear running, a lot of times quarterbacks do well outside the hash marks, maybe out by the numbers because there's space and there's speed and they can run away from the big guys and they don't get hit. But you ran him a lot between the tackles. He was north-south guy. Right. He didn't try to get out. What's the logic behind that? Does it change over time?
Yeah, he's a north and south runner. He's not a beat you with speed around the edge type of guy. He does run well. He has good speed, but he's a very north and south runner. And he's 240 pounds. Last year I think he was close to 250 by the end of last season. We've got him leaned up.
So was DJ.
He's a little leaner this year, and
me too.
He has unbelievable strength numbers in the weight room. I mean, he's as strong as they get, and so he's a good north and south runner. And even when he, a lot of his quarterback scrambles are step up, there's a crease, and go north. He hits it, and so he's very, very good at that. We just want to do it a little less. Just a few less hits. Let's get through this conference play healthy and strong. That's the goal.
So that's not just a you play calling thing. We've had Riley Jensen on, and just a little bit of coaching he did. He's like, you got to break down the QB run game. What's designed, what's called, and what's just ad lib because of the way a pocket breaks down. So. Yeah. 5 per game of one, 7 of the other. How do you?
That's a good point. Yes. So it's partly play calling. It's partly our game planning. If you're putting a QB run in every situation of the game plan, then he's going to end up with a lot of carries. So there's certain situations in the game plan where we have to resist. Like, okay, it'd be easy to put a QB run here, but let's get another touch for LJ, or let's get a ball to one of our receivers on a jet sweep or something. And then you got to pick your spots where those QB runs are going to be in your game plan, and then when you get to the game, you got to just make sure you're not overusing them. And then the other part of it is just him being a good decision maker about, in the passing game, when to run, when it's worthwhile to take a hit, when it's better to just throw the ball away and play the next play. We're working our way through those things too.
How much do you need more time to establish a depth chart there?
At quarterback?
Yeah.
If we played today, Trayson Bourget would be number 2. He's doing a really good job. He knows our offense well. I have a lot of confidence in him. And then Enoch Watson, though, is right on his heels. That guy is talented. He's got really, really a high ceiling, and he is learning the offense and handling it really well. Like he's done a great job. So a lot of confidence in him too. If we played today, it'd probably be Trayson, but we're still working our way through that.
Speaking of keeping people fresh, who can you give the ball to at running back other than LJ so he's not getting hit as often?
So Sione Moa is finally fully healthy. Now, he's had some bad luck in his career up to this point, but when he has been healthy, he's been a really good player. I mean, he's one of the best players on this team. And then I'm super excited about Devon Eka and the improvement that Preston Rex has made in the offseason. We moved Preston to running back last year, mid-season. He was a safety, trying to learn to play running back, and it was asking a lot. He did some good things in the passing game in the open field because he's really fast. But this offseason, he's actually learned to play the position, and I think he's going to do some good things for us this year too. So right now it'd be those 4 guys I see a lot of good things out of, and then there's some other younger guys that are trying to work their way up too.
Any emphasis more on camp to find a primary receiver or receivers? Because obviously you lost a lot from that position.
Yeah, I mean, every day we're giving those guys chances. We're going to put some big guys on the field, though. When we put Kyler Casper and JoJo out there on the field together at 6'5" and 6'6", and both are good players. JoJo is, that injury he had last year was really serious. We don't talk a lot about the details of that stuff, but it was a tough injury, and one that even when he came back, it just, every single ball you catch or every time you hit the ground or anything, there's a lot to it, and he's had a great offseason. I think JoJo's time is now, and then Kyler Casper has done great things since he's been here, and then Reggie Frischneck's doing a great job. Tiger Bachmeier's really improved. I have confidence in him. I'm probably going to forget somebody, and Legend Glasker, freshman, he will play this year. He's good. So those are our guys right now. I'm probably forgetting someone, but I believe in those guys. They'll step up. And we're better at tight end than we've been, too. So that's the other part is the tight ends can help supplement that.
You say better. Carson Ryan was really good. So you're just talking depth-wise?
Yeah, depth-wise. I mean, I think these two guys are – I don't want to compare them to Carson. Carson did such a great job for us, but they're in that realm of what Carson did for us, and we have more depth there than we've ever had since I've been here.
You talked at the top about, your quarter-century coaching. So along the way, you've worked with a lot of people. You had a year with Norm Chow when you were up at the U. And when Norm was here, there were similar questions about wide receiver group one year. And you know how Norm gets sometimes, right? He just kind of gets, he goes, guys, we run this offense for a long time. The receiver who can run the pattern, make the break at 8 yards, not at 6, not at 9, but at 8, cut, and catch the ball if it's thrown to him. He can play. And he'll move the chains, and we'll get in the end zone, and we'll win games. Just do what you're supposed to do. The scheme will work for you. It's awesome to have all these physical attributes and to be able to win the 50-50 balls, but are you at a point where it's, guys, if you run the pattern, the scheme's going to work for you?
Yeah, there's definitely an element of just being reliable that makes the offense go. It's the most – you want to invest in your most talented players for sure, and your most talented players should be your best players, but sometimes there's certain parts of the game or certain situations where you just need somebody that's reliable that can go get the job done. And Tiger Bachmeier is one of those guys. Like, he did some things for us last year that probably nobody noticed, but he was in the right place at the right time and makes a block that springs LJ on a run, or he sits down in his zone coverage where he's supposed to be, catches a ball, moves the chains on third down. Some of those things that don't take a ton of talent, that just take someone who's tough and smart and reliable. There's always a place for guys like that to play here, and that's been the deal here for a long time, right? There's a long time where BYU offense has just been about being reliable and executing, and that's still true.
All right, well, congrats on another year. Stay one step ahead of the posse. That's the rule in the coaching profession. You're doing a good job of that.
Yeah, 1 year at a time.
All right.
As soon as you think this game will humble you fast.
Yeah,
I've learned that the hard way over the years. I've learned to enjoy the wins more, but this game will humble you, and we have to stay humble and be ready to go every week.
Hey, Rod, thanks for the time. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks.
There is Aaron Roderick, and he can't tell us, PK. We both wanted to ask. We both want to know. All right, what part of the game plan are you leaving the QB run game out, and where are you keeping it? I would assume red zone, priority number one, because he's very good at getting the ball in the end zone. And probably third and short, fourth and short situations, and then he better start being careful, because otherwise he's going to be up around 10 or 15 runs a game.
Yeah, and I think that's a wise thing to do, actually, is to back off the run game as much as possible for the quarterback, because you're just playing odds. And sure, he's a fine north-south runner, but, the whole defense is going to be geared to get in his face every time, because they know, wow, he must be really smart to be able to process that as a freshman who didn't even have spring ball, blah, blah, blah. So you got to stop Bear. You got to stop LJ. You got to stop their run game first, or else they'll just run it down your throat all day long. And, that's the way you get beat, and that's the way the team controls the games. That's why Whittingham has been preaching that for decades. He's probably 5 years old, and his mother said, what are you doing today? I'm going to figure out ways to stop the run.
I think this is where your argument about stats, be careful, they don't tell the whole story, really rears its head in the QB run game, because there are runs where you get hit hard twice. So back to your point about odds, there's 2 chances to get hurt. There are runs where you get hit hard once, and there are runs where you don't get hit at all. So we can't just look at the 7 carries or 11 carries or whatever it turns out to be. But if you get hit hard and then you get driven into the ground, that's 2 opportunities. We've seen guys get hit with a collision. We've also seen guys hit when someone lands on them or drives them into the ground. And sometimes you just get tackled. There's that one collision. Sometimes you just get shoved out of bounds. Uh-huh. Sometimes you score standing up untouched, or you run out of bounds, or you slide. And so I think all that has to be factored in. How many times a game does he get hit? And not just tackled. You got to count not only get tackled there, but that dude drove him into the ground. That's a chance to mess up his shoulder.
Yeah, and then I think, talking to him in the offseason, he plans to do cartwheels and upright jumps and stuff when he scores.
Okay, see what you did there. Yeah, a little scataboo backflip kind of thing right there.
Yeah, so he's planning.
Chance to blow your knee.
He wants to show, the NFL that he's nimble. So he was talking about starting at one side of the end zone and doing backflips like a gymnast all the way over.
Show the NFL you're nimble by running under the goalpost and then holding the ball above your head to the crowd so you can get the roars and the adoration of the tens of thousands of people at the game. That's good enough. You don't need a backflip, man. Just run through the back of the end zone with the ball over your head. I'm the man. I did it again. Touchdown.
If you scored and then hand the ball to the ref and then went out of bounds off to your side and did a backflip, would that be a celebration?
Probably. Probably would be. But I get your point. At some point, you're not right in their face.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't do it because there's too many people, but if you're inside the box that they're allowed to be in, that 40 or 50 yards.
No, you can do it. It goes from the 20s, I think.
Oh, is it 20 now? Okay.
If you do that, though, and then everybody knows, okay, you'll do it, you'll wait, you'll have like a 2-minute cooling off period, and then you do it on the side.
On your way back to the sideline, once you get past the numbers, right?
But
then
you're on the sideline, you're out of bounds, and the referees have started going back, and then the kickoff people and kick return start getting out on the field, and then you do it.
That can be a taunting celebration if the refs are gone and the other team's gone to their sideline.
That's the way you ought to do it. I've just created a whole way for guys to celebrate.
The only problem you have is you get over there and there's all the hangers on, all the people in the sideline passes.
Get the crap out of the way.
The cheerleaders are over there. There's media over there.
They know. Scoot out.
Clear out. Backflip guy's coming.
Right. It's like when they blow that cannon thing. No one's standing right there.
Yeah, I've been busted by that before.
Well, you're dumb.
I am. I agree.
Finally, we've reached common ground.
Yay! Break time. DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
3, 2, 1. This is Scotty G and Coach Tim LeComb.
From top to bottom, this is the most talented team the Kalani Sitake's ever had at BYU. And that includes his first year when he had Taysom Hill and Jamal Williams. This is as good of a complete team. Now, I know there's some question marks at wide receiver. Totally get that. But I also look at it from the depth. They've got it. The quality, the high-end players, they've got it. I just think this team is absolutely loaded, and we're going to see it on display.
And the questions will get answered quickly. The receivers that you choose have to go out on the field, and they have to run their routes and catch balls, and they catch balls and make plays. You'll start to get to know them better. They'll become more than just a name on a page. And then on Utah's side, nationally, both teams ranked in the top 25. BYU considered a contender, and Utah a dark horse. You guys are in the conversation. Now it's just go do it.
Catch Scotty G and Coach weekdays from 10 to 2. Presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Surprise.
Wait, do I know you?
You use your Discover Cashback card to earn 5% cashback on restaurants all quarter.
Yeah.
Now, it's payback time.
Whoa, hold on.
Go ahead.
Oh, you mean my Discover Cashback.
I told you there'd be payback.
You know, you have a weird way of delivering good news.
I'm working on that.
Activate and earn 5% cash back at different categories each quarter on up to $1,500 in purchases.
Terms apply. See discover.com/5 for details.
DJ and PK, it is time now to get you up to speed on anything you might have missed in this show. Slacker Radio Headlines brought to you by Trajan Wealth. Call Trajan Wealth today, your local trusted financial fiduciary. Call them at 1-855-TRAJAN1 or visit their website at TrajanWealth.com. We talked to RSL head coach Pablo Mastroni. They're at home tomorrow night, second game in the League's Cup. We talked with Tiger Bachmeier and Aaron Roderick. BYU really turned everybody loose. It was freewheeling chaos. It was good old days down there, PK, on the opening day. You requested multiple people to talk to, and they just kept providing them. And we actually were busy talking to one person with another person waiting. We had to wave off a third potential interview because I can't do three at once. Yeah, it would have been a fourth potential interview. We aired two today, and wherever you get your podcast, you can go listen to defensive coordinator Kelly Papinga. We ran that yesterday.
Well, they've reduced media access, but they've increased, or it has been increased, when they do have it.
Those times you can talk, you can really talk. And you can get one-on-ones, in our case, 2-on-ones.
And nobody was there yelling last question.
Right.
Or
nope. Just let you go.
Wrap it up.
Nope. Yeah. Let you go. Do your thing.
And
But you're right. It is cut back from the old days when you were at every minute of every practice and watching everything and all the trick plays and saw coaches going after kids, in some cases cussing them out. You saw every fight in practice and every injury in practice and all that stuff's under wraps.
Yeah, right. Yeah. There's been one after another over the years, and that has changed completely. For me, I don't mind that it's changed completely. It doesn't really matter to me. But I enjoy talking. Not the group interviews do nothing for me. And because everyone's got stuff they got to work on, and if that's all they provide, particularly the beat people, they need to feed that beast every single day. And so I'm very cognizant of that. But I enjoy talking with athletes or coaches rather than what I would say interviewing them.
You peel back when you get the question, the follow-up, and the follow-up to that, you peel back the layers of the onion, and you learn a lot more. On. Yeah.
And most coaches and players, they're comfortable in talking in that way.
They confirm what you suspect, or they tell you stuff you don't know. And really about the sport and the game.
Right.
Deeper knowledge.
And what they're thinking, what their mindset is. And I'm not looking to burn anybody and gotcha and all that stuff. That's long since gone out of the way. I'm just looking to cover your team, get some information, and pass it on to the fans. Because the fans enjoy that. They enjoy conversation. They enjoy listening to that type of stuff. And so I like to do that whenever I can, whenever I'm allowed to.
You can't give up too many details. Obviously, A-Rod can't say what part of the game plan where Bachmeier isn't going to run and what part where he is going to run.
Well, they got to figure that out as they go. I think now it's more general of what their plans and agenda are.
But I think that for people who are trying to continue their employment in the coaching profession, there's multiple ways you get judged. One, obviously, you got to win, right? Now, if you don't win, what is the plan? Have you got a plan that will trend you towards more winning, whether you're trying to get from 4 wins to 7 or 7 to 10 or, deeper into whatever your postseason structure is, depending on your sport, college or pro or whatever? What is the plan? Are you progressing? Because people can stick with some hard times and some setbacks if they see a plan and they see progress and see a building something. It's when you don't win and you don't have a plan, or the plan just goes like crazy and it has no chance. Or Sacramento, the Kings are changing coaches every 65 games. There's no plan. And then that's when people lose their jobs. So I think most coaches, they know this. They want to lay it out. Here's what I'm thinking. If it doesn't pay off right away, it's going to pay off. And so when you can get those talks going and delve deeper, you learn a lot. You see what the plan is. It's interesting for the media. It's interesting for the people. It protects the coach a little bit. I mean, ultimately, you're going to have to win.
Yeah, and I think both these programs are going to win. I think Utah State's going to win not sure about their level, but I trust Bronco to build a program because that's what he does.
It's hard to know in a new league with programs that have been scrambled. Yeah. There's nothing to go by. It's a little bit of a blindfold going through it.
As far as the new Pac-12, the one thing that it looks like is Boise has reestablished itself. And they were awesome, and they went through a little slip, but it seemed like to a good degree they're back. So in my mind, they're the team to beat. We'll see how that plays out. And then the other two, especially this time of year, fans want to know about your team. And it doesn't really matter what team you are. That's why these .com people and these internet people have been able to carve out, because they jump in and go crazy. And they mostly present it from a positive perspective because they are fans of the team. Those are just facts. 95% of those .comers are fans, and they want the team to win. I don't really care if they win. I want them to win, but I don't take any personal joy. The Devils beat the U of A. I take personal joy. BYU beats Utah. Utah beats BYU. I don't take personal joy. I'm just looking for a storyline. And we usually have those storylines, and that's a lot of fun to cover that. And I think that's what fans just want to be brought in and to be able to learn about their guys, their gals, whoever it might be. So we'll continue to progress along the camp like that. Week 1 is already over almost. And once we get to week 2, then when that's over, this time next week, then we're only 2 weeks away from games. And that's pretty sweet.
Let's go.
Yeah, and then it's on, and there's a lot of fun in that way. To follow that, to follow your team, and now especially for BYU, and then to be able to follow the other teams because it matters. I think that's what they missed for those 12 or 13 years, but that's over now, and so now you get to follow these other teams and see how you relate to them and interconnected and what's going on. And once we get to that, and then the crazy thing, once we get to that, we enjoy that, and it's over because it goes so fast.
3 months, soak it up.
Yeah.
The playoff has turned into a 4th month, but that's different because not all the teams are playing. And then do we have a dog in the hunt or not? Or are we just kind of watching at a distance?
Yeah, neither of these teams have won the conference yet. Not the regular season, not the title. And that's got to get done.
Not going to give BYU that 4-way co-championship, huh? A share of the quad in the regular
season. But they
season.
didn't get into the thing.
They didn't. They didn't get the tiebreaker. They got them in. Yeah, it's true.
I mean, you can claim that, but I don't even think they're claiming that.
No.
And plus, claiming that, it doesn't really get you anything. Because the overriding thing is the good thing is they don't need to claim that because they have a good program and it is in a good spot. That's more important than claiming a 4-way tie in a convoluted way. And I still, to this day, don't know how they chose the 2 teams that went in. And it doesn't matter anymore because it's 2 years old. But these teams need to get a regular season and then, of course, a conference title unless you get a playoff bid.
I was going to say, find a way to the playoff.
Then neither of those teams matter. Neither of those things matter. But I don't know that can happen without one of those two happening.
It doesn't look like a 2-loss team can get in. So your only path right now, the only obvious path to the playoff is to go 12-0 and lose a conference title game. Under this scenario where you don't have the conference title, I guess you would have the regular season title. If you were 12-0, you'd have at least a share of it. And then get in at 12-1. Because BYU just showed if you're 11-1 and then you lose the conference title game, you're 11-2. Are you getting in? Maybe you could if your losses were better. You know, if they lose to Notre Dame at home 24-23, and then they lose a conference title game to, let's say, Texas Tech runs the table because they don't have to play Utah or BYU.
But it better be a close game.
And if they lose to Texas Tech 28-27 and you got 2 one-point losses, okay, there's an argument maybe you can get in.
I think there's an overwhelming argument to be made.
Because you added it up, like 63-14 last year when there are 2 losses.
That's what sticks in my mind.
Yeah, if you lose 2 games by 7 touchdowns, now if you lose 2 games by 7 points. Right.
They were not competitive.
They were not.
No. So you have to play a competitive game irregardless of the score. And that's what kept BYU out, at least from receiving serious consideration, is that both losses were not competitive.
I do wonder how competitive they had to be to throw elbows and get past Notre Dame and Alabama and Miami. And those teams, we know they have bigger brand names,
I think
and
we know
we
what
all
competitive
think,
is.
and we all think those brand names matter. And we can say whatever we want about Notre Dame and Alabama, but Miami proved they belong when they got there. They won 3 playoff games and went to the title. So it's not like the committee picked a lousy team. I mean, they can only pick so many teams.
Yeah, but that's 2 different things. I don't think they're picking teams because they think they'll win.
No, they're trying to pick the 12th. They know they're going to pick teams that are going to lose. I mean, if 4 of the teams have to lose the first game, you're picking teams, did they earn it? I think Miami had a good case.
But you don't go on the fact that they won after the fact. That's 2 different things. That's a bonus. That makes you
and that
look
is what
good,
it is.
but
It
that's
is a bonus.
that shouldn't go into it. How will they play in the playoff? Because if that were the case, why did we have Tulane and James Madison in?
Well, we're not going to have that again, and that's because of the rules, and they're changing the rules. And the ACC didn't help us with their convoluted how do you get into the ACC title game, back to your how do you get into the Big 12 title game when there's a 4-way tie and nobody really knows. Miami should have been in that conference title game. I think they would have won it. Then there's only one ACC team in. They can go do their thing, and there's another spot for somebody else.
Which would have been Notre Dame.
Yeah, probably, yes. You're right.
Yeah, well, I think that's part of the deal. I understand that if you're tied with Notre Dame, you're losing the tie.
Unless you've beaten them in Provo in October.
Well, then you're not tied.
Then you got a chance.
You're not tied. If you're tied,
if you're both 11-1, if you both have one loss,
Notre Dame is going to get the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
It's a TV show. It's entertainment.
The power of the brand name is not discounted. We all know it.
And who is going to appeal more? It's not sport at that point. It's entertainment. It absolutely is entertainment.
And it's business.
Which is entertainment.
Yeah.
It's the same word.
Cash on the bottom line, baby.
Which is why I've accepted a long time ago, sports is nothing more than entertainment. It is a television show.
Well, it's not entertaining when your team has a less than, fair shot, logical shot, whatever word you want.
But it was a good thing for BYU that Notre Dame refused to play in the bowl game, because that became an enormous story.
It did.
And then that's going to trigger more change, which is going to help you, and it's going to help Utah, and on and on. So by Notre Dame, anybody who criticized Notre Dame for not taking their ball and go home, you're stupid. Because that actually is going to help you, not hurt you.
You can connect the dots. It's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
You just did. And that's why we've got is it 16 or is it 24? And back to its business, the SEC's got their hands on their hips. It's 16. Well, that's because that's what ESPN wants. And they got a huge contract with ESPN, and ESPN doesn't want to open the thing up to bidding and have Fox take a bunch of the games. And meanwhile, the Big Ten's got to deal with Fox, and they're over there 24 because Fox wants to open it up. And
it will. The pressure will mount, and it'll get done. I mean, it took forever to get a BCS, and it took forever to get
to 4.
a 4.
To get to 2, to get to 4, to get to 12.
When it seems so obvious.
Steve Spurrier dropped the line. What do you think about 4? I like it. I'll like 16 a lot more when we get there in a couple of years, but I like 4.
And it took a long time to get away from the UPI AP vote that would come in, 2 days later or what have you. I mean, it seems so silly now, but that's the way it was. And we enjoyed it. And the vote, what was the vote going to be? It seems so ridiculous.
ESPN has a story up on the public enemy number 1 for every Power 4 college football team. And I looked at it, your Sun Devils, 1975 AP poll voters. Because you voted number 2 when you went
they can run.
12-0. Exactly.
They stole it. Went 12-0, beat Nebraska. Not that I was a fan back then, but so what?
So what? Yeah, but in retrospect, you're like, hey, years later, that was wrong. You love this, though. Public enemy number 1 for Arizona? Frank Cush. And then they got a whole story on that. They write a paragraph. They wrote one for BYU. The Bowl Alliance.
Yeah, the Bowl Alliance. That was, Ed Lavelle said it's their party. They can invite whoever they want to invite to. Yeah, but in the end, what difference does it make? BYU went, what did they go, 14-1?
They did.
Yeah, you went 14-1. And so somebody did this or that. And Utah in 08 went, what did they go, 13-0? And somebody didn't vote. Screw them.
Yeah.
I would take that every time. As a Sun Devil fan, if the system stayed the way it was, that they go undefeated and some ding-dongs rank them number 2. So what? Who cares?
All right, so did Arizona State, Arizona, and BYU. Why am I doing the Utes last, PK?
I don't know why.
Because it has something to do with you.
Something to do with me?
They don't put your name in the story. Utah Utes. Public enemy number 1, Max Hall. After leading BYU to a win against Utah in 2009, QB Max Hall didn't hold back his feelings about the Cougar rival. Quote, I don't like Utah. In fact, I hate them. I hate everything about them. I hate their program, their fans. I hate everything. Hall said. It felt really good to send those guys home. Most neutral observers can chalk up that infamous rant as something that came in the heat of the moment, but it still stands as a singular instance to demonstrate how vitriolic this rivalry can get.
I regret asking him that question.
Kyle Bernagura wrote that up.
And then when he asked me, do you really want me to go into it? I should have said no.
Never
For the sake of our community and the division that the subsequent answer will create, I'm going to say no. How do I find myself in the middle of these things?
I don't know. It's just magic happens. How else do you explain it, man?
Magic happens.
Thank you.
magic happens.
All right, DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. We hit on a few other things. The Boston Red Sox, you enjoyed that. They rallied in the 9th to tie the game. They rallied in the 10th to tie the game. They rallied in the 11th to tie the game. They rallied in the 12th to tie the game. They won in the 13th inning, 12-11. They are 31-5. So they're using up all their luck, right? They're about to take some L's now. This has gone on long enough. Revert to the mean. Law of numbers. That was an outrageous way to win. Don't they have to lose I don't know, 3 of the next 5?
Well, you can argue that they already did.
Something. And I think that's how you explain it at the start, but it's gone on a bit long now. 31-5. Awesome.
They're thinking win the freaking division.
Why not? Yeah, absolutely. Get yourself out of that best 2 out of 3 roll of the dice.
I knew all along that Cora was the problem.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, it was obvious. Get rid of that bum.
All right. They're 5 games back. They got a little more than a month and a half to go. So There you go. All right, DJ and PK, shout out to the local guys. Keaton Slobus, 9 of 10, threw a touchdown pass in the Hall of Fame game. And the former Brighton High star, Simi Fa'oka, from Albion Middle School, a student of one Jackie Kinahan, he had a 5-yard touchdown catch in the game. So
don't forget about Miles Davis, formerly of Utah State and BYU. He had a big day rushing, too.
Yeah, Miles Davis had a big run.
What were his numbers?
I think he had somewhere 70.
Well, he had the big run.
Yeah, he had one big run. I think he had some at 70, some at yards, but former Aggie and Cougar himself.
I don't know what it means in terms of, I hope they all make them, but.
You'd rather do it than not, but it doesn't lock you in. Yeah, 36-yard run, 4 carries, 53 yards. DJ and PK, when we come back, your feedback next. We got the poll questions up. When do Utah and BYU lose for the first time this year? What are the chances they could be 8-0 when they play each other? We'll get to that. Get your reaction to that next. Stay with us. Join Scotty G and the coach Tuesday, August 11th at the ballpark at America First Square with Mountain Supplies Customer Appreciation Day. They'll have swag, knowledgeable vendors, food, raffles, batting practice on the field. Bring a glove and a mini golf tournament. You don't want to miss it. We'll see you there, August 11th. All right, PK, you put the question up on our Facebook page. When will Utah lose for the first time? When will BYU lose for the first time? The thought that they could both be 8-0 when they meet each other in early November seems unlikely, and yet somehow, you're saying there's a chance. For the Utes, 20% of the people think they're going to lose to Kansas. Game 5 will be their first L. 20% also think it'll be Houston, Game 7. 6% think they're going to lose at Cincinnati, Game 8. 52% will say it'll be another game. And I suspect most of those 52 are thinking it's the BYU game. As far as the Cougars, when will they lose for the first time? 29% think Game 2 against Arizona. 8% say Game 4 against TCU. The leader with 39% of the vote, Notre Dame, Game 6. But a quarter of the people are thinking it'll be another game, and I bet those people are thinking, 8-0.
Well, they have great starts then, obviously. I think both programs will have good starts.
If I told you it was going to be a 7-1 team against a 6-2 team, you'd sign off on it right now, wouldn't you? Because that seems probable under your theory of the field and stuff happens.
Yeah. But for BYU, what are the losses? Because if I have 2 conference losses, no.
No, it's Notre Dame. Under that scenario, I would say they lose to Notre Dame, and somewhere along the line, something happens.
I think that's conceivable.
For Utah, I would say Houston, and then something else happens. If they were 6-2.
I don't know. Oh, 6-2. Okay.
If they're 6-2, that's why. They lost to Houston, and somebody else got them. I mean, we've always talked about it. You turn the ball over 3 or 4 times, you can lose to just about anybody.
Those records you post are hypothetical, obviously, but they're also plausible.
I think 7-1 and 6-2 are in the super likely range. And maybe they're both 7-1. It's the only time that I think either one of these teams is going to be an underdog is when BYU plays Notre Dame. I expect Notre Dame will be favored in that game. I think most of us expect that. Then elsewhere, you have games where, you're favored, but maybe it's 4, it's 6, it's 7, whatever.
That TCU game for BYU.
Okay. We'll see. I would expect that's the thing where I'm thinking it's a small point spread. And, if you're favored by 4, they're favored by 3, well, anything can happen. Now, not a lot of people are pointing at that as loss number 1. 8% of the vote. I guess some people may be thinking they're going to lose to Arizona. I got to say, I'd be surprised if BYU was 2-2 coming out of the gate.
Sure, but it's also not unrealistic either.
They could be 2-2 and finish 9-3.
That Arizona game, man, I'm concerned about it for BYU. I just think that U of A is going to be good. Now, if you lose that game, though, I want to make sure that it's understood that it's not you haven't lost what your goals are.
If they lose that game, no, I mean, then we'll just point back at that year that Utah lost relatively early, not that early, but relatively early to USC and ended up going 11-1. I mean, doesn't end everything.
No.
The thing is,
but it would be a big
and
come down.
Arizona, can that offense put a lot of points on the board and win the game?
They can strike at any time.
Don't you think that defense is going to give up a lot of points? Isn't there a lot of work to do there? Didn't they lose a lot of guys?
For what's interesting about the U of A is that historically they've had really good defensive backs for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And when I was working down in Casa Grande, there was a kid who went there and ended up playing in the NFL. Randy Robbins, I think was his name. They've had real good defensive backs, and they did lose all of them, and so they've got to reload. But every team has some form of issue.
True story.
Yeah.
Who's the slam dunk? I mean, it may be a high bar. Oregon only loses to the team that wins the national championship. Well, you're in the Big Ten. You're going to have those games you have to win. And they haven't been able to pull it off. They've come close. I think 25-3 over the last 2 years. Awesome.
That's a dangerous game. It's not a trap game. It's just a dangerous game.
Yeah, it's not a trap game. It's out. It's wide open. It's game 2. Game 1's a money game, and it's game 2. There's no trap about it. It's at home. You don't have to go there. You know they got a quarterback back. It's easy to cut clips and make sure the whole team respects him, but they probably
5 weeks from tomorrow
already know.
I am certainly fired up for that game. I love the fact that SC bailed, so then Notre Dame got on the schedule, and then they moved a conference game earlier.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I think there should be more conference games week 2 and 3. Not week 1. Let them have their shakedown cruise. But it's one of those deals we complain when TV puts its thumb on the scale. I'm like, why doesn't TV put its thumb on the scale there? You need more good games week 2 and 3.
Because maybe they have enough intersectional games. Like, for instance, week 2, I know you got Texas Tech and ASU, or A&M, I should say, and you got the big game is Michigan-Oklahoma.
They need so many games for so many TV windows. I just think they can move a few more. I mean, Michigan-Oklahoma is great, and we'd watch it anyway, and we'll certainly watch it now that Kyle Whittingham and Jay Hill and
But I don't
Becker
think
there.
a week or so is going to make a big difference in TV contracts.
Squeeze every last dollar out of it. Let's go.
I think they are.
All right, we're out of time. Enjoy the weekend. School's bearing down. You're just recounting that, PK. Teachers heading back to work. Students are going to follow them a little after that.
Yeah, in that regard, it's down to the final week.
Yeah. All right, enjoy the weekend. Scotty G and the coach Tim Lacombe up next right here on The Zone.